Quick reminder for Leafs Nation, if you're a diehard Toronto fan and you're still bleeding blue and white, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It's the best way to stay updated every single day on our journey.
Sammy McKee. A little electricity for us coming up. Is he ready? All right, here he is with all the answers. Former Toronto Maple Leaf general manager, Gord Stellick, does a great job on our show. Gordo, how are you, my friend?
You know something? I got complimented about being on your show a couple of times last night. I sat in the seats at a game. A friend, Dean Anderson, invited me to the game. And for the first time ever, I was under the flag for the anthem and then the Leaf flag when they tried to get the crowd going, rather unsuccessly. I felt like I was a 1 or 2 year old. Remember those parachute parties?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of fun I'm having now rather than expecting to win games. So I'm good. I'm good.
Love hearing it. Now, if we went back to 1988, 1989, when you were the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, am I in the ballpark?
Glory years.
Right? Yeah. All 180 pounds of you back then. What would you do today with this roster closing in on a Friday deadline?
Well, I faced kind of a similar situation, but it was an expected situation. So we were fortunate to get 2 first-round picks as assets in the Ken Rega trade. Okay, so but you can't work miracles. Okay, so here's the thing: all of a sudden the Leafs are sellers. Okay, let's get assets. The cupboard is bare. Okay, you're doing a reno on your house. There's no supplies. There's no carpenter. There's no electrician. There's no HVAC. Okay. All you can get is a guy to put a few more shingles on the roof because it's leaking and you don't want it to fall in. Okay, so you can still look at making good hockey deals, but not cosmetic deals to go, golly gee, wow, we got a late second round pick for Bobby McMahon. Take a look what a late second round pick has done historically. Now, one other tactic, Kippy and Justin, you may be better plugged in there. What about the nudge, nudge, wink, wink thing? Bobby McMahon, Scott Lawton, we're going to get assets for you, but we want you back. Do you want to be back July 1st? Here's what we'll pay you. So, I mean, that would be a little innovative. I think every Leaf fan thinks they can do the opposite of the Brendan Carlo trade. They can do that kind of trade, which unfortunately now has come to bite them in the ass a little bit, getting a top prospect like Fraser Minton and a first-round pick. First-round picks still have value. I'm all for that. But let's not expect miracle. Oh, we're going to stock the cupboards and shelves in a couple of days. They're screwed when they're thinking about the future. Just ask Chicago, Buffalo, Detroit. It does not happen overnight, and they had their draft picks.
So do you feel like this team then has a path to be competitive next season? Because that is kind of the story we're being sold, right? Like, this is like, oops, we just kind of fell off, get back on the horse next year, and we'll be the Leafs again, top 3 in the division.
Well, this team's lost the path, but can they find the path again? Because, Justin, F1 race, you see an F1 race start on the grid, and then all of a sudden the race goes, and there's one car that doesn't start, and they're out of the race. And oh my goodness, Ferrari's pissed off, or whoever they all are, whatever, Roger Khan, Duffer Mazda, whatever his car, probably, whatever. Anyway, they don't start. That's been the Leaf season, and it's made no sense. It's made most sense from the team that came first last year and the team that played playoffs 9 years in a row. And that's not a distant memory. That's a recent memory. Being a Stanley Cup contender, that's not a realistic this is not a realistic present compared to what it was a few years ago. But you're going to be back with Matthews. You're going to be back with Nylander. And sometimes in this world, a lot of things go wrong. I know the Chris Tanev injuries making him look like a Hart Trophy candidate. You had indifferent goaltending. Your D-corps that you brought back. And I don't think anyone can argue. It's not been the same. They don't get the pucks to the forwards either. They say, like, why is everything broken down? So much so Craig Berube touching his head, touching his heart. That isn't that stuff they had? Isn't that stuff that was instilled in them? Can they instill it again? So, Justin, you've got to go back at it, in my opinion, to some kind of degree. It's more of a salvage mission now rather than thinking, wow, we got a great chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Gordo, these cars that you speak of, are you driving?
Yeah. Well, I'm not driving the Ferrari, but I'm driving, Wajid Khan Duffer Mazda CX-90. I've had it forever. 2451 Duffer, north of Eglinton on the east side. You know that.
I only ask, Gord, because I've been in a car with you, and I'm not saying that you're slow, but there was a dog pissing on our wheel.
Well, I know. You know it's not a Ferrari. I am. You'll be happy to know I got my first speeding ticket in 100 years last week. I said, like, Lisa's going to be ecstatic because she gives me crap all the time about being a old man driver. So there you go, Kippy. I wish you were with me.
You are watching and listening to electricity behind a Ferrari these days. When you watched the Leafs last night, Gord, I know everybody's kind of off the playoffs and the standings and all of that, but what's important for you now, past the trade deadline to see for the next 21 games?
So, okay, it's called garbage time, and I maybe overuse it. I don't use it disrespectfully, but I use it, first of all, because we would have had it back in my day when you were sort of not mathematically, realistically out of the playoffs, and all of a sudden, Gord Stellick gives you 8 goals in the first 60 games, and then he gets 10 in the final 20. I go, like, I couldn't give a bleep about that. We were out of it then. Ideally, is you like to see the young players play, like Gabe Perreault did last night with the New York Rangers, got 3 points. Leafs don't really have young players. Easton Cowan took a penalty early and really didn't play much after that. It's kind of sad. Like, God rest his soul. I don't know how many times you've played on a team like this. I love Dan Maloney. I love Dan Maloney, the player, the coach, consummate professional. But he was assistant coach when I was with the Leafs when we came dead last. And we got Wendell Clark first overall in the draft, which was great. But I remember there were about 12 games left in the season. Practice was about to start, and he's getting ready for it. He's putting his skates on, and he goes, "Gordy, don't you wish the season could end yesterday?" and he was a pro, but I'm telling you, that's how they feel right now. Don't you wish to see? So anyway, the minimum you can do, because you're not going to get your system, like it's too late for all that. So whoopee-ki-yay, you find whatever it was you were lacking the first 60 games. You got to put on a great show at home, okay? You can't do what you did last Saturday. These are your diehard fans. That's a minimum, okay? You got to go, put on a great show for your hometown fans for a starter. You want to try to end the season on a positive note, of course. And then, unfortunately, you don't have a ton of young players, but this is generally where you try to give them that opportunity to play in roles that they wouldn't get to play if you were a playoff team.
Gord, how much value is there in the idea of getting guys who the fans want to see? I know Brian Burke talked about he wanted to get guys at times that put on a show, and I've worked with Daryl Sutter, and when they took over the Flames, he said that's one thing they wanted to do. They want to get some Western Canadian guys that played a way that the fans could connect with. I'm not saying for the Leafs in general, but is that a factor where guys are looking at players and going, that guy puts on a show, and that matters to our organization?
Well, maybe to a degree. I don't know who that would be right now. I remember Nathan Dempsey, he was a marvel, right? When he was up, the fans liked him.
I think it's part of the Max Domi appeal. He's got games where he can...
Yeah, you want a show, but you don't want a sideshow.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and I want him to approach the shootout a bit different than last night. But anyway, the thing is, Brad Treliving said he wanted more snot in his team. And he got Joshua, Waugh, and Michelli, right? And that wasn't an unfair observation of the team. But you can't get snot at the expense of not scoring. You can't get snot at the expense of not playing D. So the player that is kind of a fan favorite, that's gone for this year. I mean, do either of you guys know the only player who scored 20 goals the last time the Leafs didn't make the playoffs in that season?
I'm going to Sam on this one.
P.A. Parento.
P.A. Parento,
wow,
right?
Nice.
That's where. So, but the Leafs have Austin Matthews and William Nylander and John Tavares, but that's the kind of team and season they've had this year when they didn't have those guys. And P.A. Parento was kind of the fun player that got 20 goals. There's no fun player right now. This season ain't fun. This style they played has not been fun. But your premise is a correct one.